Hello and welcome to our brand new stream, Tales from the Backlog. If you are a regular viewer of this channel, hello Trappy Jenkins. If you are some other regular viewer of this channel, then you're aware that we have a regular Friday night Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game called Shadows of Arconia, from which the channel takes its name. This is our first episode of our new show. You probably noticed that other than myself, there are no familiar faces here. That's because we're going to have a rotating cast and a rotating series of games. I will not be GMing every game, but I will for this first one. And we are playing Hypertellurians, which is an incredible science fantasy RPG with very different rules from D&D by Motocross Machinations. And there's some universe where I pronounced that correctly. So, as usual, I am Steve Boshear, and I will be your game master for the evening. A little bit about the game. As I said, this is a science fantasy game with a very all-encompassing sort of mindset. Hypertellurians is designed to be able to basically play any genre in this system and link them together with the concept of the ultracosm, which is all planets, all galaxies, all universes and dimensions in their entirety, forming this massive place called the ultracosm, of which you are all residents. And I will give you a little bit of setup now for what's going to happen. But before I do, I want to draw everyone's attention to one of the core mechanics of this game, which is called wonder. I know you guys all looked through the game book earlier, but wonder is a resource that is for you to collect and spend on wondrous actions, but it is not an individual resource. It is a party resource. You all have a pool of wonder that you share, and in order for any of you to spend any of it, you have to all agree that this is worth spending it on. Since this is a one-shot, you won't have much time to go around collecting any wonder. I am going to start you off with 4 points. You have 4 wonder points. This represents wondrous sights that you have seen on your way to where we are picking up. Every time that you witness something wondrous in the game, you will gain new wonder points. And every time you perform a wondrous action, you will spend wonder. Were this a longer game, you would advance your characters based on how much wonder you had all spent. But we won't be doing that in a one-shot, maybe if we ever do a sequel. So, now that we've introduced that concept, does one of you want to keep track, or maybe all of you want to keep track of the wonder pool? There's, like I said, 4 points.
No one else is. No one else is. I track for it.
Look at this guy. I told you he was a pro. I don't have a script. That's why I keep backing up. I don't have a script for the opening for this one yet. On the other show I do, but it took 50 episodes to get there. So one last thing. If you like the show, if you want to suggest something that we should play, or you'd like to perhaps submit yourself as a possible player, we have a Discord. And you can just come and talk to us as well. Whether you are watching right now on Twitch or on YouTube, you can find a link to our Discord server below this video. If you're watching somewhere other than Twitch or YouTube, how? And find us. Find our real place. If you're on Twitch, there's a link to our YouTube below. If you're on YouTube, there's a link to our Twitch below. This stream is going to be every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, Here we go. It is a momentous time in the Ultracosm. Many of the denizens of many universes and dimensions have become aware of one another, and in many ways seek relations with one another peacefully, if possible. Now, of course, the Ultracosm is infinite in scope. It is, in fact, an infinity of infinities. But the sheer number of people involved in these talks is staggering. And in Dimension 47, in just a few days, the first annual Ultracosmic Conference of Unaligned Powers is to take place. This is a meeting of undescribable importance. And if you have an invitation, then you are a person of significance. Now, the three of you all hail from the same galaxy. And as such, in order to reach this conference, you have booked passage on the same ship. Well, Sarcina and Ebenezer have booked passage on the ship.
I'm a stowaway. I'm a stowaway.
Nobody's met Mr. X yet, or X, I guess.
Just X.
We are they, them.
Okay, so you guys, in order to make sure that things stay neutral and that you arrive safely, the two of you have asked the Star Rangers for help, for transport. The Star Rangers are a galactic humanitarian and exploration force well known to stand on the side of right throughout the galaxy. And they have sent for you the rocket ship Valiant under the command of Captain Buck Slater. Buck Slater is the most famous hero of the Galactic Rangers, and you have all heard of him. His jaw is so square you could use it to frame your house. His body is the perfect balance of lean and muscular to fill out his Star Ranger uniform better than anyone who's ever worn it. His eyes sparkle mischievously, and his lips are quick with a boyish smile. But the set of his brows and chin communicate beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is a man of action, and he'd be willing to prove it if you made him. He welcomes you aboard, and the ship launches from the planet Dawnstar, your departation point, towards the hyperportal to Dimension 47. Once the launch procedures are complete and the ship is well underway, the captain, Buck Slater, greets you and the other delegates in the mess hall. There are three other delegates that you meet. The first is Duchess Renia of the Hypergalactic Union. She is decked out in an iridescent blue dress that leaves little to the imagination, and a hairdo that is the color of a rainbow that you have only dreamed about. It does run through a spectrum of colors, but not any of the spectrums of colors that you've seen before. It is also about 3 feet high. You also meet Angelus Arcane of the Liquid Dimension. He is fluid in a containment suit that appears to be transparent plastic. but somehow keeps him upright in a vaguely humanoid shape. Lastly, there is a yellowish vapor in the room. This is Ambassador Hate of the Spectral Cloud. Buck Slater walks in with the rest of his crew. Behind him is a young man in his early 20s by the name of Lieutenant Jet Johnson. This is Buck Slater's second in command. And he looks like an eager young go-getter who, despite his youthful appearance, clearly has the absolute trust of his captain. Behind Jet Johnson is Marina Mars, the ship's navigator. She does not wear a Space Ranger uniform, for she is technically a civilian attached to the ship, but has had no ambition in life other than to navigate a Space Ranger rocket ship. And lastly, enters in full uniform a 10-year-old boy. He is wide-eyed, blonde-haired, precocious, and wears the uniform of a junior lieutenant. This is Junior Lieutenant Billy, the ship's log keeper. Captain Buck Slater addresses you all. Welcome aboard this historic flight to the hyperportal to Dimension 47. I, who have been everywhere, have only visited this hyperportal once before, and I have to tell you, it's a very strange place. I have the utmost respect for all of your decisions to go there in the interest of ultra-cosmic peace. Our journey should take several days. The Valiant, the ship upon which you stand, is a powerful rocket ship. Not the most powerful in the universe, but certainly the most legendary in our fleet. We will continue acceleration constantly until we reach the hyperportal, at which time we will transfer all of our delegates, you fine people, into Dimension 47. We invite you to take advantage of our ship's mess hall and recreational facilities at your leisure over the next few days. If you have any questions, this is Lieutenant Jet Johnson, and he will be here to assist you with any of your needs. Can I help anyone with anything? Anything you wish to know before I get back to the cockpit?
Your powers of exposition. Leave little to be desired. Leave little to be desired.
I see.
I have heard of a drink called coffee. Do you serve it here?
Junior Lieutenant Billy will get you your coffee. Billy grumbles and sort of stomps off towards a little vending machine in the wall and brings you over some coffee. Here you go, sir.
Fascinating.
So, at this point, there is a sound from outside in the hallway, as of someone failing to sneak past quietly. Jet Johnson sort of drifts casually towards the door and then violently thrusts it open, behind which stands a hideous assemblage of living body parts. Jet grabs you by the shoulder-ish object?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I got a couple hands on my hands, basically really tall.
Jet grabs you and thrusts you into the room. Says, Captain, I think we've got a stowaway. Captain Slater says, explain yourself. What are you doing on my ship?
I just needed to get where you were going. That's all.
What do we see when we look at X? I've heard hideous amalgamation of body parts and dude with extra thumbs.
So, if you want a real basic idea, real quick rundown, think Junji Ito's interpretation of Frankenstein's monster, dressed like Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, but instead of a trench coat and pork pie, it's a really voluminous cloak and hood. And over my shoulder, I'm always carrying this like 6.5 foot tall, just crimson coffin case. I got lots of bandages and such too. So I'm hunkering down on the ground, trying to be subservient, but I'm still a good 4 or 5 feet tall.
I'm glad that you described that, because I was actually under the impression that you did not wear clothes.
No, I got clothes.
Okay.
I will pull my trench coat close around me and kind of half step behind the captain to put him between me and this construct.
Don't worry, ma'am. It won't hurt you. Not while I'm here. Bucks later.
Thank you, Captain.
I've no need to hurt anyone. I just want passage.
Go ahead, Brian.
I'll speak for the creature. What is your name, sir?
They call me X.
And what do you do, X?
I'm a musician. I search the cosmos for all music.
Fabulous. If you don't mind, Captain, I could use a little bit of livening up.
Would you like me to play for you?
Absolutely. With the captain's permission, of course.
Hearing that he's a musician, I perk up. As a singer, I am interested in what he has to offer.
Bucks later says, well, we can't just space him, and there's no going back, so I suppose he may as well earn his keep. Go ahead and play.
Okay. So
I'm sorry. I know you said they. I spacing on it.
So I put my case down and pop it open. Assemble my saxophonium. It looks big, not so big in my hands. It's probably about 6 feet tall. And yes, I play for you. I play something haunting and the melancholy of the universe, of an existence forced into being against its will.
Like the dirges of Ajahai.
It could be.
Reminds me of my sisters. I am sad, for they are all gone. It is only me.
The yellow cloud that is Ambassador Hate floats over towards the captain and X. And you all hear in your minds, in a voice like worms crawling through flesh, these words: I do not trust this creature. We must kill it.
I do not require your trust. Just let me pass.
You have committed a trespass against our captain. You have not booked passage.
An oversight on my part. I intended to sequester the services of a musician. Lucky me, this one came without awaiting my invitation. If you have any issue, please take it up with me, Ambassador Hayes.
I shall do so on my own time. And he kind of...
We'll be here waiting when you do.
He kind of swirls away.
Ambassador Ben just pulls up his coffee.
It's terrible coffee, by the way.
Ah, but Ebenezer has never had coffee.
Fair enough.
Bitter. Very bitter.
So, at this point, the captain returns to his duties, as do Junior Lieutenant Billy and Marina Mars. Jet Johnson hangs out in the room with you for a little bit, just making sure everyone's settled and okay. And then, after a few minutes, Jet points out the window and says, "Look there! We're about to pass the giant Squid Nebula." And everyone, as you look out the window, what you see is not so much a nebula that looks like a squid, but a squid that looks like a nebula.
Oh.
Okay. It is by all appearances bigger than a star system, based on the number of things in the sky that it is blotting out. And you can see its tentacles waving around through space at what surely must be incredible speed. But because you're at such a distance, it looks slow and aquatic. And as you look at it, each of you could swear that it forms a pattern of colors on its skin that is a specific greeting to you. And you don't know in your conscious minds how to interpret this as communication, but somehow you just know that it is. And so you will now gain 2 points of wonder for witnessing this sight.
So now as a group we have 6.
Correct.
In this moment of looking out the portal, I attach myself to the lieutenant's arm and whisper in his ear, it's like, "It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing this."
Oh, you're quite welcome, Miss Sarcina. I never get tired of seeing things like this. It's why I joined up.
In my time traveling, I've never seen anything as beautiful.
He kind of stares at you like slightly longer than is appropriate, and then realizes that he's doing it and looks away. He says, "Well, you'll see many more sights in Dimension 47, I'm sure." And if there's...
I also demurely kind of turn and tuck my head down into my jacket.
He smiles and bows his head and says, "If anyone needs me, I'll just be at my station down the hall," and turns to leave. At this time, if nobody else has anything they want to do or anyone else they want to speak to in the scene, we can go ahead and skip ahead.
Can I X would like to run their fingers over the portal glass, just wondering what this nebula consumes and what has been lost and destroyed at its passing as it passes through things.
As you wonder that, the patterns of color on its exterior, whether it is skin or not, you don't know, but on its exterior, change drastically. Not all over, because of course it's beyond massive, but just at the part your eyes rest upon. And it becomes this psychedelic kaleidoscope of insane colors. And you, in your innermost self, gain a sense of incredible time spans and momentous losses. And you realize that it has answered your question.
Suitable.
Well, you mill about the common area for some time until each of you gradually retires to your own assigned quarters, along with the other delegates. X, you are not assigned quarters. Jet Johnson has instructed you that must you sleep, you will sleep here in the mess hall. They've sort of scooted a table into a corner for you. And gradually, in what passes for night on this ship, you all drift off to sleep. Until, some unknown number of hours later, you are all suddenly, violently jerked out of your sleep. A klaxon is sounding as the ship vibrates, at first very roughly, but then gradually slows down to less and less of a vibration until the vibrating stops, but the klaxon continues. And a voice, it's Lieutenant Billy's voice, comes over the PA system and says, "All passengers report to the mess hall. All passengers report to the mess hall. Captain Slater needs to have a word with you."
To the mess hall.
I'm already in the mess hall, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you wish to
Teacher's
stay
pet.
there?
Yeah, but I'm gonna gather my stuff up and kind of slink into a corner as best I can.
All right. And Sarcina, do you obey the instruction?
Yes, I will wrap myself in a black satin nightgown. My long dark hair is tied up in a knot on my head. And I make my way to the mess hall.
All right.
Wearing my fuzzy bunny slippers.
When
Ebenezer's probably the last one there, in that he must assemble his entire getup before he deigns to arrive.
Yes. X, actually, when Junior Lieutenant Billy finishes his announcement, he's in the door immediately, and you actually see him hanging up the intercom speaker, which was right outside the door. And he walks in, and within less than a minute, Jet Johnson and Marina Mars have also entered, with Buck Slater following a few moments later. So the entire crew beats everyone there except for X, who was already there. And then the Sarcina, you get there shortly after, followed by Angelus Arcane, Ambassador Hate, Duchess Renia, and lastly, reluctantly, Ebenezer Crow. And Buck Slater and Jet Johnson stand with their arms crossed, just looking at everyone until the entire group is present. At which point, Buck says, "Well, you're probably wondering why I called you all here. You may have felt the violent shudder in the ship a few minutes ago. Well, it turns out, and I don't want anyone to panic, there seems to have been some onboard sabotage." Jet? And then Jet Johnson speaks up, says, "I went to the engine room. It looks like the atomic piston has been stolen from the Astro Drive. Without that piston, the ship will not continue accelerating. We're going to coast at this speed until we either stop or we get the engine repaired. This means there's no possible way we can arrive at the hyperportal before the conference takes place or before we all die of old age."
No spare parts, I assume.
Lieutenant Billy says, "There were spare parts. There were a whole box of atomic pistons. They are gone too."
And you had no one watching over them?
Surely a security screen captured the culprit.
Junior Lieutenant Billy looks a little sheepish when you say that. He says, "I forgot to turn the cameras on last night."
It would seem our saboteur is thorough and knows the ship.
"Well, I trust my crew implicitly, and I don't want to point fingers at anyone. But the fact remains, this ship started moving, so we had the atomic piston when we left. Someone on board took it."
Who among your passengers knows how such ships work?
That is an excellent question. At this point, Angelus Arcane of the Liquid Dimension points a pseudopod over towards X, and you all hear in this bubbly, liquidy voice, as you in fact see bubbles within his containment suit popping up. He says, "This one over here is not one of us." He looks at you, X, you think, and he says, "If you can explain your whereabouts during the time in question, we will move on. Otherwise, I feel we should assume you are the culprit."
I would never be one of you. But I spent the night here, dreaming. What, I mean, would you search my things? Would you open up my clothing, open up my veins to look for your parts?
"Yes,"
What do I know of
says Ambassador Hate.
I only just recently acquired this musician. I think that we should probably turn some other stones over before we go through those motions, don't you, Ambassador?
Ambassador Hate kind of swirls in a manner that suggests he's paying attention to you now, Ebenezer. And he says, I agree with Arcane. This one committed crimes already. He is a known criminal.
Lay down your charges.
Why would I steal these parts?
Why would you steal passage
What's
on a
in this
ship?
for me? If these parts are gone, my passage is gone.
Ambassador Hate spins back to the captain, and you all hear, I cannot touch physical objects. I believe I am above suspicion. You should kill all of my fellow passengers and go through their belongings.
That seems a bit extreme, Ambassador. Ambassador Crow, do you have anything to say about that?
Indeed. And then he just tosses his cup through Ambassador Hate just to see if he interacts with the physical matter.
You actually see, like, what you would expect if you tossed it through a cloud of vapor, which is that the vapor moves out of the way where the cup touches it and is disturbed by it, but in no way impedes the cup.
Huh. And then he just walks through Ambassador Hate to get the cup and then walks through the same space again to go back to his spot.
Okay.
I must agree.
Hold on. I need to check how this will work.
8d6 necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Bam.
Basically,
You help.
yes. Yeah, I'm just going to make this up. Why don't you roll a brawn check?
That's a d20, correct?
Yes.
12.
Okay. You're going to be okay, but you definitely get the sense that Ambassador Hate has attempted to poison you to death as you pass through his form. But because you were quick and held your breath, you did not take the damage.
So Ebenezer does not in any way betray that he has sensed this. He just says very blithely, he appears to be above reproach. He cannot interact with material things.
As I said, kill this one and those. He gestures. He gesticulates his gaseous form towards everybody. Buck Slater says, Now, we won't be executing anyone. When we find the culprit, they'll be put in the brig.
Who would sabotage such an important mission? This is a time of destiny. The future will be planned and laid out before us with this meeting.
Marina Mars says, She's right. I don't understand this. This is one of the most important things ever to happen. Who would want to stop it?
Do any of us know the other members of the, like, are any of us from close enough within the same galaxy that we've heard of each other's regions before?
Yes, the liquid dimension is, of course, a different dimension. So you, Ebenezer Crow, have heard of it, but you've never encountered a being from there before. Sarcina and X, you've probably not heard of the liquid dimension, but you're aware that there are a lot of dimensions. And then the Hypergalactic Union is a major force in the galaxy. In fact, the Space Rangers work under the Hypergalactic Union. It's a large coalition of planets. Ambassador Hate comes from the Spectral Cloud, which is a nebula filled with essentially avatars of different emotional states. It is not known why hate is their ambassador, but that's who they sent.
I was wondering if that was okay. So they're all named after an emotional state.
Yeah, there's probably more than one of them named Hate because it's an entire nebula, but yeah, they all represent things like that.
Hate and his close cousins, seething, anger, rage, and bitterness.
Yeah,
Have all been sent along to represent the nebula.
You forgot malice and chagrin.
Actually, they don't let chagrin out of the house. So yes, you are familiar with their places of origin. You don't know any of them as people.
Well,
go ahead.
There are, well, actually, I feel like you were just about to give us a clue, GM, so why don't you go right on ahead?
I was just going to continue the series of accusations, but if you have something else to add, go ahead.
Well, we do have several representatives, highly placed in their regions. There may be something political afoot that not all of us would be privy to. Or perhaps, how far away are we from where we set off?
I didn't really say a distance, but you've been traveling at a constantly accelerating rate for about a day. Because you spent the day, you hung out, and then you went to bed and slept, and then this happened.
And are we dead in the water, or we just can't keep accelerating?
The second one. You are in a ship that achieves interplanetary travel by constant acceleration. So the speed at which you would have been traveling by the time you got to the hyperportal would be exponentially faster than the speed you're traveling at being only a day out from the planet. So that means you basically will never get there unless you can speed up a lot.
Given the delegates that are on the ship, I think that political intrigue makes the most sense as a motive, but to be completely fair, it's hard to know what science fiction tropes we're dealing with. Someone could have some relativity-based anxieties as well. Doesn't want to leave their family behind, come back 200 years later, that sort of thing.
Jet Johnson says, "Oh, there's no need to worry about that. We do have the time warp relativity shield encompassing the ship. That never went down."
Captain, time is of the essence. This was my big chance to perform before a large, powerful audience of influencers and wealthy people.
Duchess Renia cocks her head to one side and says, "Miss Sarcina, can you remind me again who it is that you are representing at this conference?"
Oh, I am here of my own volition. I am here to perform for those that are in attendance. I am a diplomat of my own needs and wants.
I see. And you received an invitation?
I did, yes.
May I see it?
It is back in my billet, my room. I will have to retrieve it.
Angelus Arcane speaks up again in his bubbly voice and says, "It is a good thought, but it seems to me that X is still the only one of us who has no justification for being here. Who hired them? Who sent them?
None hire me, and I send myself. My reasons are my own, and perhaps it is you, or you, pointing to Arcane and then to Hate, respectively, who orchestrated this. Just because you can't touch things doesn't mean you can't pay someone to touch things.
If I had orchestrated mischief, you would all be dead.
I expect that from any of us.
Junior Lieutenant Billy then says, wait a minute. I think, yes, that's right. And he runs over to the bank of CRT monitors on the wall and punches the very loud physical buttons.
Yes.
Until,
high tech.
yes. Until a series of images comes up on screen. And he says, I forgot to turn on the cameras in the engineering section, but I did not forget to turn on the cameras in here. And he brings up the feed of the mess hall and plays it at high speed. We can see if they left. And X, why don't you describe what it was that you did in the mess hall after everybody left? Because that is what's on the monitor now.
It pains me to share this with people because this is my own private, personal routine. But before I shut down for the night and lost myself into unconsciousness, I gathered my things into my corner and poured through my notes. And you see me just hung like I'm about 7 foot tall, super lanky, so it's like spider-like arms, looking through my notebooks, reading, thinking to myself. It doesn't look exciting to you, but the vistas in my mind when I read my music, I can't describe them.
And at some point, do you fall asleep?
Oh, yes. At some point, I pack up and shut down.
All right. Well, the video playing at high speed has everyone's rapt attention, player characters notwithstanding, and eventually reaches the point in the playback when the ship jerks and X wakes up. And the captain turns to Ambassador Arcane, says, "You see, Ambassador, your accusations have been disproven. X was here in the mess hall the entire night."
I cross my arms and stretch up to my full height, staring down at these smaller beings.
Arcane sort of blobs around towards you, says, "My apologies. I made unwarranted assumptions."
You did.
Only one has been proven above suspicion. Mr. Crow, can you similarly account for your whereabouts?
Well, that depends. Did Billy remember to keep the security screens on near my quarters?
No.
Ah. Well, Billy, there goes my alibi.
Jet Johnson at this point is just shaking his head at Billy. Billy, you have one job on this ship.
Like, out of character question.
Yes, sir.
About how big is this ship? Like, is this the whole crew and everyone in it?
This is indeed the whole crew.
So okay, so X looks around at everyone, and so was nobody else awake? Do you not work in shifts? There can't be that many corridors for people to slink around here.
Jet Johnson says, "Yeah, I had the night shift last night. I was up in the cockpit. Marina and Billy were asleep. The captain was on his off hours."
And would no one have seen anything?
Well, you have to understand, typically the engine compartment is securely locked. It doesn't require maintenance while it's in operation.
And it was broken into?
As near as I could tell, it was unlocked by someone who had the code.
And who has these code?
Myself and the captain. At which point Billy speaks up and says, "No, I have the code. Remember that time the captain asked me to go in there and get him the electro wrench?"
Not to put too fine a point on it, but there's only one person who was responsible for manning the security cameras, and that is the same person who is one of the three who has the security code. We're spending an awful long time looking at delegates who had every reason to come on this trip, but it seems to me that we're not the most likely candidates.
Wait a minute! Are you saying I did something bad?
You're accusing this young person of doing dastardly deeds?
My lady, you didn't taste the coffee. Billy.
That's not my fault! I told them 16 times when we were back at base, they need to fix the coffee distributor.
Is there any security footage that can work as an alibi for you, Billy?
Yeah, there is. But it's not the ship's security cameras. It's this. And he reaches in his pocket and pulls out a little, like, PDA type thing. He says, "I was building this last night. It's got a camera in it, see?" And he turns it on, and it's clearly like his science experiment. Like, he's trying to get like research credit for this. And it does indeed have a camera in it, but it's like it barely works. And when he turns it on, it just plays like weird broken hologram images of his face. And like he's just making little faces like he might make if he was trying to like work on it with tiny electronics tools. And it really doesn't show anything, except every now and then you'll see something flicker behind where his head is in the image. He goes, "See, that's my bed. I was in my quarters."
While everyone's distracted by Billy's showing of his new tool, Sorsina reaches into the pocket of her gown and pulls out a long cylinder of chrome and inhales deeply from it.
Is that aerosol? Like, do we smell that?
No.
Better not be holding out on good smokes around Ebenezer Crow. It's not kosher. So
while you guys are noticing the aerosol, all of a sudden, Marina Mars gets a really weird look on her face. And then her eyes go wide, and she pulls out a little clipboard with, like, paper on it. And she does some math real quick. And she looks up at the captain and says, Captain! Captain, something is wrong. If we slowed down, if we stopped accelerating last night, we should be in the Heronay system right now. And when she says Heronay system, Jet Johnson and Junior Lieutenant Billy both kind of freeze. And Buck Slater gets a very concerned furrow to his brow.
Care to translate, Captain?
The Heronay system is home to the planet Heronay and the evil space princess Celestia. Anyone who gets caught in her nets is not likely to make it out. And you hear from off towards the portal, a net like that one. And as you turn towards the window, you see a broad spread of asteroids in something of a circular formation, flying directly towards the ship. But between them stretches blue energy in the form of an actual net. And when the net hits the ship, it wraps around the entire thing, and the asteroids come swinging back and like wrap around a couple times until the entire rocket ship is just immobilized, and you hear this intensely loud electrical humming sound. The motion that you had on the ship comes to a complete stop at this point.
Captain, may I go to my quarters? I must retrieve my overcoat. It is my armor, my protection.
I don't like it, but yes, everyone, you'd better arm yourselves. We are well and truly in her trap now. Come, Jet. Let's get the laser pistols. So, at this point, everyone kind of scatters. The captain and Jet Johnson run to arm themselves. Junior Lieutenant Billy tries to show Marina Mars to safety, but she like kind of won't go with him. She's going to her quarters instead. And the ambassadors similarly filter out of the mess hall, trying to find their own security blankets, just as Sarsina suggested.
I don't suppose you're any good in a fight, Axe.
I'll hold my own. I put my case down and I start putting my horn back together.
Okay.
I just start playing, just something light, minor key.
And at this point, out the windows, you begin to see ships, like a fleet of small, fast-moving ships coming towards you, and they kind of latch on with these beams to the electronet that holds you, and begin towing the Valiant towards the nearby planet Celestia, or the planet Heronray. At this point, we will take our 10-minute break. If everyone needs to get up and use the restroom or get a snack or whatever, I have 9:34 on my California clock. So we'll come back at 9:44. Hello and welcome back. We have finished our 10-minute break, and the rocket ship Valiant is in the clutches of Princess Celestia and her horde of minions. You guys are being pulled inexorably towards the surface of the planet Heronay. As you pass through the upper atmosphere of this place, you see below you a broad vista of blasted plains and sandy desert. This place looks like a barren, empty planet upon which surely nothing could live. And yet, you have been told that the evil Princess Celestia indeed makes her home here. And the ships that have captured you are pulling you down towards what appears to be a palace of sorts built out of large animal bones. The Valiant touches down, and the electro web is terminated. At which point you hear from outside the ship a loud voice over a speaker. Passengers aboard the Valiant, please exit your ship and make yourselves welcome in my home. For time purposes, let's say, Sarcina, that you have made it to your cabin, gotten what you need, and come back to the mess hall. Does anyone wish to respond in any way to that instruction?
I turn to the others, yeah.
I'm waiting to see what the actual crew of this ship does.
Okay. Sarcina, Ebenezer, any thoughts?
Waiting to take the cue from the captain. Not making any awesome getaways without the crew. So...
Well...
You say her reputation precedes her, that she's dangerous.
Oh, yes.
She welcomes us to her home. Can we trust her?
Well, the crew is not in the mess hall here. When the ship got grabbed, they ran to arm themselves. And you now hear, over the ship speakers, a brief moment of feedback, followed by the captain's voice that says, "Damn your eyes, Celestia! If you want us, you'll have to come in here and get us!"
Is that, as an ambassador, Mr. Crow, is that the proper way to address somebody in power?
It really depends on the culture.
So, at this point, the princess replies, "Ah, is that the voice of the dashing Captain Buck Slater? I still owe you for what you did to my men. If you insist, then we will indeed enter your home, Captain. Behold the wrath of my insect men." And at this point, you begin to hear pounding and scratching on the outside of the ship.
I think it's possible that he misread the cultural cues.
Fantastic. So Junior Lieutenant Billy comes running in and says, "All right, guys, the captain says whatever we were arguing about before is done. Right now, we need to protect each other. Do you all have weapons?"
I mean,
Reluctantly, Sarcina reaches into her handbag and pulls out her ray emitter. Again, it's a short rod of about 6 or 7 inches long with like a little, looks like a small satellite dish on the emitting end. A short steel antenna.
God, that's so classic. I like that.
Ebenezer?
He just shrugs. He has what looks like a baton in his one hand. It's just this kind of vaguely gothic-looking hexagonal cylinder.
Okay.
I continue playing.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Bard classes get stronger every edition.
Well, there is a sound of tearing metal. And you hear outside of the mess hall a din of clacking and chittering as of thousands of tiny creatures. And you hear the voice of Duchess Renia screaming.
She's in her quarters, not in the mess hall with us.
She is not. You know, the three of you at this time are the only ones in the mess hall, along with Junior Lieutenant Billy.
So, Sarsina, how would you like to develop a relationship with one of the powerful delegates of the Valiant?
You guys are crazy! And Billy runs towards the door of the mess hall, opposite the one he came in, yanks a ray gun out of his belt, and runs off towards the sound of the screaming.
It makes no difference to me.
Let's go save the foolish little boy.
I will watch your back, Ebenezer. I place my left hand on your shoulder in a comforting way.
Are you successfully comforted?
So very comforting. Thank you.
All right.
I don't... he kind of looks back, like, between the 7-foot-tall X and the femme fatale Sarsina. Looks like a little confused that he's in the front, and then follows Billy.
All right.
I lope after, taking up the rear.
The entire rear.
Yes.
Okay, so you follow. Billy has gone around a corner by the time you get out of the room, but you are able to follow the sound of his footsteps pounding the floor. And you hear his young voice yell out, "Let go of her, you!" And a laser blast. And you come around a corner just in time to see what appears to be a vaguely humanoid-shaped pile of thousands of small insects. And these insects get blasted by Billy's death ray and disintegrate. Unfortunately, behind them are several others. These are in the shape of humanoid insects and also made of insect-sized insects. Billy has successfully saved Duchess Renia, who pulls herself together and runs to get behind you guys, if you will let her pass.
Ebenezer will let her pass.
So is it she was in her quarters and they busted into her quarters from the outside?
It looks as though she was just in the hallway when they encountered her.
Okay.
Duchess, are you okay? My goodness.
I will be, as long as those things don't get me.
He looks down at Billy. winks in that way that your uncle, who always brings a flask to Thanksgiving, winks. Just says, "A brave show, lad. You probably shouldn't be up front."
And as you do that, I put a hand on your shoulder, not forcibly, but push you aside, and I'm attacking the cluster of insect monsters.
Okay, we are going to go ahead and call this the start of combat. So there is a regular turn and there is a fast turn. A person taking a regular turn gets to take 2 actions. A person taking a fast turn gets to go first, but only take 1 action. So how would you guys like to proceed here?
Well, I guess I'm shooting for a fast turn this turn.
Okay.
If nobody else minds me doing that.
No, Ebenezer is thoughtful. He's less of a jump in first and ask questions later, so he'll take a full turn after things shake out.
Yeah, so regular turn for 2 actions.
Okay. Okay, so the insect men will. There are 3 of them here. The 2 in front will take regular turns, and then the 3rd one will take a fast turn. So I guess he'll actually be the first one. And that means X, you are first.
Okay, so I draw in a deep breath and blow through my horn, uttering just this deep, resonant, just booming noise that resounds off the corridor walls. You can feel it in the star stuff of your being. Like it's trying to tear you apart into your constituent atoms. And I am using my contrabass saxophonium for its range spread attack at the 3 insect monsters.
Yes.
One of them, and then the spread.
Okay.
Ooh. You know what? I should have asked first. What score am I using to roll for that?
Since it's a ranged weapon, I believe you always use agility for that.
Cool. I got an 8.
Okay. You do not damage them.
Well, it was a lot of build up to not that much action.
You know, every once in a while you hit a sour note. I mean, it happens.
Oh my gosh. Really? Really? So this resounding, this booming sound, does it affect our ears at all? Like, forces into a ringing ear situation? Deftone.
Not really.
Okay. You guys were behind it.
Maybe if it had connected. But no, it's sound.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, well, that first insect man that is attacking fast is going to come take a big swipe at X with his weird insectoid claws and just completely whiff. The sound of your contrabass saxophonium was so, even though it didn't deal damage to him, it put him off balance so much that he's barely holding his form together. So his attack is just a total whiff.
How does attack of opportunity work?
If in your case with that weapon that you have, you would get to take an attack immediately upon a creature moving to engage you. So this creature has moved to engage X, so not you.
Understood.
However, it is your turn now.
And I haven't read the rules carefully. Is an attack something you can do once per turn, or can you actually attack twice on a turn that you...
I believe you could attack twice if you choose.
That would make sense considering some of the tags I was reading.
Okay.
Make a little more sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, you get 2 actions, and if you want them both to be attacks, you may do that. Although moving uses an action. Moving a short distance uses an action.
Okay, so if I'm literally like at X's elbow, do I need to move to get into range?
No. No, you're okay.
So he looks down, he tells Billy to step back, and right about that time, X steps forward, just plays that horn for all he's worth. Ebenezer tilts his head, just listens for a minute. No, it's not quite there. He flicks his wrist, and this baton just shoots out to this 6 foot long staff of just strange dark steel, and at its tip you see a blade that starts fading until it's not even there at the edge of the blade. He flicks it out like he does it every day and just lances into this forward insect person. Also an 8.
Oh, but...
Shrug. He then leans in with a sort of clandestine air and says something in a dialect you cannot quite make out. And as the words resonate through the air, there is a gust of wind coming off of X, pushing everything around him away just enough to interfere with incoming attacks. Your defense goes up by 2 because I have the Stir the Air spell.
I think I almost took that.
All right.
Also, real quick, I did take 1 point of damage because I missed, and my saxophonium is a heavy weapon.
Yes. And that represents your exhaustion.
Yes.
That is the end of my turn.
All right. Sarcina, it is your turn.
Am I able to get a clean shot off on one of the insect swarms?
Yes, the hallways are wide enough that you could get around the other side of X. And you could target any of the 3 of them. There is the one that has approached X and is in melee with him, and then there are the other 2 that have not yet had a turn that are still a few feet away.
I will aim at one of the ones that are a few feet away.
Okay.
And that is a 15.
That hits him. What weapon are you using? Your ray
My
emitter?
emitter.
Okay.
Yeah. Which rolls twice for damage, and you take the higher roll.
Wait. Sorry. Why does it do that?
It's
brutal.
improved. Yeah, it's an improved ray emitter. It's got a brutal and destructive tags on it.
Great. Okay.
Still only 3 damage. I rolled 2 3s in a row.
I respect the consistency.
Yes.
All right. You said 3 damage?
3. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So you hit him, and it hurts, but he is not dead. And he will now respond by he raises his 2 arm-like appendages and thrusts them forward, at which point some of the insects composing his form shoot out towards you, Sarcina, and he's going to roll a 23 to hit.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Ow. Sorry, I lost my place. It is actually only going to be 3 damage, though.
Consistency.
Yeah. Okay, the other insect man, who you did not shoot with your ray gun, is going to charge Billy at this point, because Billy, being the dashing space ranger that he is, has refused to get behind you guys. He clearly sees it as his job to protect you. Not so much you, X, but you know. He gets a 15 to hit Billy, which is actually not going to hit Billy. Yeah, Billy's a space ranger. That's it for everyone except Billy, who will now blast this guy with his ray gun. Billy does hit. Billy does 2 damage to the insect man that attacked him. So we are now starting our second round of combat. Who would like to act fast and who would like to act regular?
Regular.
I'll go regular this time.
Okay. Sarsina?
And I think she will act fast to move, put somebody between her and the insects, and also kind of guide the Duchess a little further down the hall away from the combat.
Oh, she's gone.
Okay, she's run off.
She got behind you guys right at the start and did not stay to watch.
So I kind of like leap over towards the side of one of the hallway and just fire off another shot at the same mass I tried to hit before.
All right.
And roll a 15 again.
That hits, yeah.
Good Lord. And 2 points of damage.
Well, that's not gonna help. I mean, it will. Every little bit helps. But, you know. Okay, so all 3 of the insect men have chosen to act fast. This one, Sarsina, will attack you for 20 to hit. 4 damage. And then the second one will continue attempting to murder poor Billy and completely whiff it. And then the one X that you were engaged with will just stagger around drunkenly. Ebenezer, you are up.
So we've got a ranged fight going with Sarsina. We have Billy just kind of being a 10-year-old with a giant bug person around him. And we have X.
Trying to get in a good shot.
Yes.
Yeah, Ebenezer sticks with X. Billy's too stupid to live. Like, if he lucks out, great, but... okay. So, first attack against the insect man. 12, not a great roll. I don't think I add anything since I don't have a brawn bonus, but I know some of his armor does not apply because of the nature of the Staff of Jebel.
Correct. Also, 12 does hit.
Fantastic. 3 damage.
All right. And you attacked the one that is engaged with X?
Mm-hmm. The invisible tapered point of the blade just passing immaterially through the bugs, which probably up to that point were not aware that they could psychically receive damage. Their tiny screams are just like music to my ears.
Okay.
We'll follow up with another attack. But that one's only a 7.
That one misses. And now, X, it is you.
Well, I'm gonna. How close are these insect men to each other? Are these clusters of insects shaped like men?
They are a short distance away from each other in game terms. Close enough that were you to try and do a spread attack, you could get them.
Okay, so I'm gonna bop some notes at the one in front of me, and attempt to get splash onto the other two.
All right.
See if I can actually roll something. All right, so I've got a 21 on that.
Okay.
With my +2, it's 21.
Fantastic.
So that is doing a D8 damage. So I've got 5 damage. But it's magic damage, which will
bypass their armor.
Yes. It will ignore non-magical armors.
Well, all of their armor is biological and non-magical. So
I hoped.
You have done significant damage to all 3 of them.
Huzzah.
And at this point, Billy will do 2 attacks with his ray gun right into the chest of the guy in front of him. The first one is definitely a hit, and the second one is also a hit. Billy just rolled max damage twice. So the one that was fighting Billy is gone. 2 of them remain. Billy has now killed 2 insect men. And what the hell, you guys get a point of wonder for seeing the incredible Junior Lieutenant Billy in action.
I guess they trained them something in those ranger schools after all.
Yeah, he's not even out of school yet. Okay, yeah, that's actually it for the round. So, round 3. Who's acting fast?
Gotta have that turn economy, man. I want that extra turn.
All right.
I'll go for acting fast.
Okay.
I'm feeling cocky.
And Sarcina?
I'll take the 2 actions for 2 attacks.
Okay. So the insect men, the one that is fighting X is going to act fast. And the one that was attacking Sarcina is going to act regular. Okay, X, you're first.
I grit my mismatched teeth and blow again. I want to just get these things down.
Okay, roll it.
4.
Excuse me. Yes, you missed.
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Okay, the insect man in front of you has finally pulled himself together and distracted you severely with your blasting saxophonium. And he is attacking now for 18 to hit you.
That hits me.
Finally. Jeez, this guy. 5 damage.
Is that 5 damage going to Brawn?
Yes, to Brawn.
So 5, 3, 2. All right.
So, that's him. Ebenezer, your turn.
Where do we find our defense?
It's based on your agility.
Defense is equal to agility. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see. You have not written your defense score on your sheet. Yeah, it's your agility, I think, plus anything that modifies it, like armor, if you have anything like that.
Okay.
Which you don't.
Well, I am an ambassador. I think they figured if they gave me hockey armor and shit, it would look a little weird.
Hey, there's all kinds of weird things in the Ultracosm. So, what shall you do on your 2 actions?
What is everybody else's defense, if I can ask?
11.
14.
You're actually at 16 because of the spell.
No, I'm at 14 because of the spell.
Because of the spell. Oh, you're right. He does play these games a lot.
I told you.
Didn't forget a bonus. Just
No.
all right.
I wish it was 16 because of the spell.
Ebenezer launches his attack at X's attacker. That's a 1.
Okay.
I don't know if they do crit fails in this game.
No. At least I don't.
Gonna give it another shot. That's a 10 with no special armor if they had any.
No, it doesn't hit. So the armor isn't relevant. Just to remind everyone, you are able to spend your wonder in combat. On page 21 of the book, you will see examples of what you can use it for.
It's also on the back of your character sheet.
Ah, if you printed the back part.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Sarcina, you are up.
Well, she has already taken significant damage. She seems to be moving a little slower than she was before. She, again, positions herself to be shielded as best she can. She shoots the same insect swarm for 12.
Just hits.
And I finally rolled an 8
Okay.
on that 8-sided dice.
The armor reduces that. But you deal a significant blow to this writhing mass of insects. Quite a few of the component insects of this giant insect man are dead and on the floor. But the creature itself is still up. And it is now its turn. It will assault you again with its grasping, terrible claws for, I'm really sorry, 23 to hit.
And that's on Sarcina, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on Sarcina.
Oh my god.
Good news, only 1 damage.
Thanks.
Also, I just realized I have been kind of forgetting to do the second action for these creatures when they're acting regular. So
I didn't get my second attack either there, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's resolve yours first, then. Go ahead and do that.
I did roll it already, and it was a 3, so that's mute.
Okay.
Waste of time.
I'm glad that it was moot because I would hate to think you had actually killed this thing and then I dealt damage to you anyway. It will use its second action to take a swipe at X. 19 to hit.
Yep, that gets me.
And it gets you for 1 damage.
Oh, cool. I can eat that.
All right. At this point, Junior Lieutenant Billy is going to turn his ray gun upon the one attacking Sarsina and yells out for the second time, "Hey, let her go, you!" Junior Lieutenant Billy rolls a 14 on the die. So definitely hits this thing and blasts it to smithereens. Come on, guys. Billy has killed all of them. He will then blast the last remaining one, which is the one that X has been fighting. And this time Billy misses.
My brain just immediately went to, but Billy can't miss, so which of you took the shot?
I swear, it is the dice that have decided Billy can't miss. Yeah, he's done. So we are on to round 4. Who would like to act fast on round 4? You have 1 insect man remaining.
I'm going to act fast. I want this.
Okay.
I want to feel bad.
How about you two?
I will also act fast, but I want to back down the hall and retreat as I have taken some damage,
Okay.
limping away from the fight.
Okay, the movement actually counts as an action, so
Okay.
that will be your 1 action if you're acting fast.
Moving as fast as I can.
And Ebenezer?
Ebenezer will see how it pans out and try his best to mop it up afterwards.
I take that to mean acting regular?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably best call.
The remaining insect man will act fast because he is somewhat panicked. And Billy will be Billy. Calm and cool in all situations. X, you are first.
All right. Come on.
Somewhat panicked because he's seen this Oompa Loompa murder all of his friends.
All right. So I've got 18 with modifiers.
You've got what?
18 with modifiers.
Okay, yeah.
Now,
You hit him.
I did want to ask, so looking at wondrous combat actions,
Yeah.
do I need to spend, would I have needed to spend the wonder for brutal blow before the attack, or can I spend it having made the attack?
I will say either way.
Okay. So, hey, everyone, would you mind if I spent 2 points of wonder to add brutal to my attack?
Go right ahead.
Only if you give us an extremely scenic description of what it looks like when you damage this thing.
I can
Okay,
find that.
I will put some work into that. So let's see what kind of damage I do. Spent two wonder. We're down to 5. First roll is 2. Second roll is, come on, be better than 2. 6. So I'm dealing 6 damage to it.
Okay.
And you see you feel the sound emanate from my horn, and you can see. Do I take this insect thing out, or is it still alive?
It's gonna continue living, unfortunately,
Damn it, mother.
for some
Well-
period of time.
Yeah. So the sound emanates from blasts from my horn, and you can see the swarm of bugs that make this thing up just shudder. They're vibrating as some of them start to fall off, just into dust on the floor.
Yeah. It affects Billy, actually. He stands in awe of you. Billy has gained a point of wonder. Which is good, because he just spent all of his. So cool. That was X's turn. Sarsina, you spend yours retreating. So
Yeah.
the insect man will
Wiping the bug goo off me as I go.
the insect man will actually attempt to run away. So he is moving. He is close, and he is moving to a short distance away. And that is going to be his whole turn. Ebenezer, it is your turn.
It seems to be slightly against his idiom, but Ebenezer will run after the thing and see if he can get a nice, can bowl a strike straight through its back.
All right. See if anyone other than Billy can take one out.
He loses motivation after a few steps. He's just like.
All right. Well, that would be your whole turn because one action to move and one action to attack.
Yeah. He just kind of takes a few steps. His ambassador robes are flowing all over. He's kind of like. I think I froze, but yeah, he just kind of forget this and turns back to the group.
At which point, Junior Lieutenant Billy pops his battery cell, inserts a new one, steps out in front of you guys and says, "Don't worry, guys, I've got him," and rolls to attack and hits and kills him and still has an action left to turn around and smirk.
Oh my gosh.
No flourish of putting his ray pistol away.
Oh no, he doesn't have the dexterity for that. He tries and misses.
Really?
What's the damage output on this ray gun?
1d8, same as Sarcinus.
I guess it doesn't matter what your damage is when you only roll sixes.
Yeah. All right, so the insect men directly in front of you guys have been destroyed. You hear coming from throughout the ship the sounds of running battles as Jet Johnson and Marina Mars and Captain Slater all do combat with these insect men who are swarming into the place from probably everywhere they can. You have not seen any of the other dignitaries other than Renia, who herself has run away. What shall be your next course of action?
So we hear battles happening, and I guess through hearing we can tell kind of who's fighting what.
Yeah, I mean, you hear the sounds of many more insect men. They're very loud with their constant chittering and clacking and shuffling. So you can tell that's probably what they're fighting as well. The ones that you just dispatched, that Billy just dispatched, are there is a hull breach just down the corridor from you that they seem to have come in through. Billy is approaching it and trying to, examine it to see, what's the deal, can it be fixed, whatever. So you guys can do what you wish at this point.
I mean, out of character, guys, my vote is that we use the excuse of looking after the kid to make sure that we stick around the most dangerous thing in the ship. We can say we're taking care of Billy. We all know the truth.
That Billy is taking care of us.
Well, Sarcina's approaching trauma level damage on her brawn, so
Okay.
a couple more hits and she could be
Well, I suppose we need to decide what we're doing. We've secured one of the dignitaries. I suppose it might make sense to try to get the others. After all, if Billy can do this, then the captain and company is probably pretty capable with their pistols.
That fits.
I think we should go looking for, hold on, I wrote this down. Angeli's arcane. Since, of course, material things can't affect hate, so why would we worry about him? Also, he probably sold us out.
That's why I would worry about him. But I'm down for chasing after Arcane.
I will come with you, but you'll have to help me, protect me. I've already been injured.
Shoot over my shoulder. It appears that my spear is primarily for show.
Thank you, Ebenezer. Thank you.
Billy at this point will say, "Yeah, you guys stay in the hallways. I'm going to stay here and see if I can seal this breach." He begins changing settings on his ray gun and trying to like weld the ship shut.
Too much to ask for the Harbinger of Death to come with us through the rest of the fighting. All right, so I assume that we have some assessment of where everybody's quarters are. Onward to Angeli's Arcane.
All right. Yeah, you do know generally where everyone's quarters are. They would all be in the same corridor where you guys had your own quarters, except for X. And it's fairly easy to get back there. When you do get to that corridor, you see a cacophony of death in front of you. As you kind of round the corner, I wish I had a map of this, but it's kind of like a U. You come around a corner, and in order to get into the hallway where the rooms are, you'd have to turn right again. So what you see, with their backs against the walls surrounding the hallway, is the captain and Jet Johnson, both with ray guns, and they are taking turns covering each other and shooting down the hall at whatever it is that's there. You hear the sounds of chittering insect men. When you come around the corner, the captain says, "What are you guys doing here? You should be in your rooms."
The danger came to us.
What was that, X?
The danger came to us, so we followed.
Jet says, "Well, you certainly can't get to your rooms now. The hallway's filled with those things." And takes a shot.
Anywhere we can be of use if we can't get to the rooms?
I don't think so, Mr. Crow. It's our job to keep you safe. You haven't seen Junior Lieutenant Billy, have you? Pew pew.
He's trying to He's trying to close a gap in the hull. A breach, I think you call it. Naval terms.
Ah, yes. Breach. Very good.
And I wipe a little more, flicking little bits of bug off of me. Like, Billy saved my life.
Jet Johnson pauses for a second and goes, "Really?" The captain says, "I told you, Jet. Billy's a Star Ranger through and through."
But Captain, I've taken some injuries. I've been wounded. Is there any way or anyone that can help me?
Well, the med bay's at the end of this corridor, so unfortunately, we can't get you there just yet. It seems that our other guests have been trapped in their rooms by these things.
And from where we're sitting, it's like an impenetrable sea of these bugmen. Like there's no realistic way that we would get to these doors.
Well, you can't actually see the doors unless you're going to take a peek around the captain.
Okay.
But the sound is that, yes.
Captain, are there any air ducts we can crawl through to get behind them?
Air ducts? Well, yes. Yes, there is. I wish Billy was here.
Well, I'm not much bigger than Billy. Maybe I can fit.
At this point, Jet Johnson says, "But Sarsina, you're wounded. You don't expect to actually do any fighting now."
I will do what's necessary to help. We need to get to our destination. With any luck, we can escape.
Jet stares at you for a long time with an expression on his face that is very difficult to read. And then he turns and takes another shot.
Ebenezer just like leans over to X. I think it's what they call sexual tension. Unless that offends anybody, in which case Ebenezer doesn't say that and keeps it to himself.
It's fine. It's fine. At this point, from the other side, over closer to where Jet Johnson is, you guys are on the side where the captain is flanking one edge of the hallway. On the other side where Jet is, Marina Mars comes running up with what looks like a big like ammo box, and she says, "I got it. This is it, right?" And Jet says, "Yeah, that's it." Opens the lid, pulls out a laser grenade, and throws it down the hallway. And you guys hear a deafening explosion with all sorts of cool 80s sound effects in it. And then you look down the hallway, and where there were once probably bug people, there is now just a smoking ruin of cooked insects. Yeah.
So, to our rooms then?
The captain is going to step into the hallway first and address the people in their rooms. "It's all right, passengers. The danger is past for now. We are still on the planet Herone, but the insect men who came aboard have been destroyed. Please stay in your rooms until we figure out how we're getting you all out of here."
Can we make it to the med bay now, Captain?
Yes, I don't see why not. Jet,
Do you have any?
take Miss Sarsina to the med bay and see if you can get her fixed up.
Thank you, Captain. Thank
Tim?
you, Lieutenant.
He does not acknowledge your thanks. The captain does. Jet does not. X and Ebenezer, I believe neither of you took damage. Is that right? No, you actually both took damage.
No, I took damage. I've taken 4 damage.
Okay, so do you guys also want to go to the med bay?
Ebenezer spent the entire fight waiting for someone to come within attack of opportunity range. It didn't happen.
Really?
So he's fine. He's completely chill.
Oh, I must be misremembering. Okay. So, X, are you going to the med bay then?
I'll lumber after. Yes.
Okay. Well, you get in there. Ugh, sorry. Whose cat was that?
I love it.
That was mine.
So many cats. We're lucky it hasn't been in mine at any point.
Mine were being a little rowdy earlier, but they calmed down fairly quickly.
Okay, so you guys get into the med bay, and Jet kind of angrily begins yanking out medical supplies. He bandages you up to the point where, X, how much damage did you take?
4 points.
Okay, go ahead and roll 1d4 to see how much healing you get out of this.
I'll take a 4.
All right. And Sarcina, how much damage did you take?
6.
Then roll 1d6. We got good numbers there. Roll 1d6 and see how much healing you get.
1.
So bad.
This is awful.
It really is bad. Okay. So, X, you notice at this point that Jet Johnson is being unnecessarily brisk as he bandages Sarcina's wounds and applies the various salves.
Yeah, he seems a little aggro.
Ow, be careful, Jet. I am delicate after all.
Maybe I should have been more careful earlier.
More careful at what?
Never mind. Stow away.
No. I put my hand on his shoulder. More careful at what?
Sarcina shoots Jet a quick, cold look.
Well, we're never getting off the planet alive. I don't know what the point is of keeping secrets anymore. She asked me for a tour. She wanted to see the engine room.
You took the atomic rods.
I did no such thing.
She
No.
didn't do it while I was there. But she wanted
No.
in that room.
No, I was implying he took the atomic rods.
Oh, you think Jet took them?
Yes.
I said, no, I didn't.
Then what are you talking about, little man?
Nobody but the crew has been in that room ever until she convinced me to take her in. I was stupid. I shouldn't have done it. But I did.
I wouldn't know how to sabotage this ship. I don't know anything about technology. I'm a singer, a performer.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's implying that either he's not naming names, but I think he's suggesting that he either gave Duchess, Renia, or Marina Mars a tour of the room in question.
No, he is saying he gave Sarcina a tour of the room.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not here, so forget my erroneous conclusion. I'm not in the room, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you say you don't know anything about engines. You don't have to know that much to take out a part that looks important. I didn't think anything of it at the time. I thought I was just showing off how cool the engine was. Next thing I know, here we are, prisoners of Princess Celestia. We'll be lucky if we get out of here with our skins.
I don't know what to say to you, Jet. Your accusations are false. I appreciate the tour of the engine room, but I would never sabotage my opportunity.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of any of you guys. I'd better tell the captain.
You're going to tell the captain nothing. And I get both of my hands around his throat.
Oh, God. Okay.
So I actually have to like roll to attack for this, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, are you trying to intimidate him, or are you trying to hurt him?
No, I'm trying to throttle him with my elegant throttling hands.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you got to roll attacks then. What'd you get?
21.
Yeah, you got him all right.
All right, so those are going to do 3 damage. And he is losing one of his actions next turn due to the excruciating pain.
Okay, so X has obviously acted fast. Ebenezer Crow is not in the room. Sarcina, would you like to act fast or regular?
In the instant that X grabs him around the throat, I will step forward and place my left hand on his shoulder. On not X's shoulder, but on Jet's shoulder.
Okay.
And activate the needle in my hand and inject him.
Oh, gosh. What does that do?
It also inflicts pain.
He tries to scream but cannot get it out through the choking hands of X.
It's like back alley Bene Gesserit shit. It's just like, what do you do?
What is it again, Jason? The gently throttling fingers? Or something?
No, they're my elegant throttling hands.
There you are. Yes, your elegant
and
throttling
I decided
hands.
to make a scapegoat for all this.
Yeah.
Truth be damned.
Okay. How much damage do you deal to him, Sarcina?
Let me just double check that. I believe it's just a D4. Yeah. 3 points.
Oh, did you actually roll an attack?
I did not, but I don't know if
Okay.
he's just laying hands on a.
Yeah, let's just call it attack
Still.
with advantage, and if you hit, you'll deal those 3 points.
16.
Yeah, you got him. So he is 2/3 dead. And he will now take his turn. Poor Chet. He's going to spend an action attempting to break out of X's grip. So this is going to be an opposed brawn check.
Okay. I don't actually know. Oh, okay, no, I think I get how that works.
Yeah, I think I do too. He rolls a 13.
Roll his target number to achieve success. Okay, that would beat my bronze score.
Okay. Yeah, so he breaks out choking and wheezing, and he acted regular, so he has another action, and he uses it to get
No,
the
he doesn't.
hell. Why's that?
Because of the excruciating pain he's in.
Okay, so he tries to get the hell out of the room and staggers and doesn't make it. At this point, I was going to say, at this point, I will say that Ebenezer, in the hallway, you could have heard the commotion, so you may now act in the second round here. Who would like to act fast?
I would.
Okay. Sarcina, Ebenezer, any fast acting?
Just regular action.
Okay. And Jet, or Ebenezer? You acting regular? You're muted. You're muted, sir. I can't hear you.
just holding back to make strategic decisions as the situation unfolds.
Well put. We'll call that acting regular. Jet is going to act fast. But X, you can do it first.
All right, let's see if I can get those hands back around his scrawny little neck. Yeah, that was my natural 20.
Oh my god.
So 22 with modifiers.
Yeah. So it's going to deal maximum damage.
That's 4.
Well, you have maximally killed him. Jet Johnson is dead in the med bay.
All right.
His eyes bug out of his head. His skin turns blue. The poison that he was injected with has already started causing swelling on his neck as he slumps to the floor. A dead weight, no longer a going concern.
Sarcina says quietly to herself, Dragadath be praised.
Of course she does.
And then the door opens, and in comes Ebenezer with another cup of coffee.
Quick! Give that man some coffee. You might save his life.
He briefly considers splashing some coffee on his face, decides that it's forensically unwise, and then takes another sip.
Curse saving his life. That was our saboteur.
He pretty much admitted it.
Yes.
He nudges him with his toe. You just kind of, watch the body flop. Good enough for me. Not convinced that it really changes our situation much. This is a truly terrible drink. I don't know why I feel the compulsion to keep coming back to it. Well, I suppose we should tell the captain.
Yes.
Just really quickly, who killed him?
I did.
Who killed him?
I did.
Don't ever go into politics, X.
He confessed to us, tried to attack us, so we fought back.
Does he have Right.
So, no, go ahead.
I was going to ask, does he have like a security card we could like take and go search his room?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does indeed have a security card. It's attached to his keychain on his belt.
He pulls out the staff of Jebel. Well, I guess he wouldn't have to cut it off. I'm sure that the key card could be manually removed. So,
Yeah, it could.
all right, hero.
Yeah.
Let's hope you're right.
I'll reach down and... How is the key card attached to his person?
It's literally on a key ring, which is attached to his belt with one of those retractable string things that people have, like janitors.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Every day for 10 years, yes.
Yeah, I'll take his keys.
Okay.
Let's go find us some sabotage stuff.
As you walk out, you hear the captain say, "Those sound like jet skis." That doesn't happen. I'm joking. It doesn't happen.
There's a particular jingle to them.
Yeah.
That's the telltale ring of an ID card. Hold on. From the weight of the ink, that has to be Jet's name on the card.
Yes.
Bucks later.
So you guys have a general idea of which direction the crew quarters are in. You have not been there. They are not in the same hallway as the guest quarters. As you exit, one of the doors slides open in a Star Trek-y manner to one of the guest rooms. And looking inside, you see Ambassador Haight floating over piles and piles of dead insects. And he says, These intruders met the fate that all intruders ought to meet.
It's always so nice to see you, Ambassador Haight.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
X has proven himself to be a worthy companion.
I care not who vouches for who. I care
whom?
only that I reach my goal. Did you say whom?
Yes. I
Hate,
told you this character's an asshole, Steve.
Ambassador Hate clearly hates directly at you.
I'm really learning the dialect of his language. Let's check his room last, since it's the one that's protected by death.
Yeah, there are some of the bugs under him are still kind of twitching their last twitch. They've all been basically poisoned by a gas cloud.
I assume we're walking past this room to get to Jed's room.
Yeah, you would have to get back to the intersection that you were at during the firefight and then turn right to go off in the direction where basically you haven't been before, but yeah.
So just going down the hall, like Ebenezer is not acting unusual at all. Like where he comes from, we assassinate people for their key cards all the time. Like there's, he's just turning. I just want you both to take note that I walked through hate twice and I fared better than all of those bugs. It just.
That you did.
So
why can't I ever run a game that has heroes in it? Everybody's all murdery all the time.
Hey,
Sorry, I lean towards villain really, really easily.
All right. So you do not at this time encounter the other two dignitaries, but you do see Marina Mars as she is running some errand for the captain at the passing you at the intersection.
do we want to say anything to her?
She is actually going to say to you, "Oh, there you guys are. Have you seen Jet? We need him. The captain needs him up top. Have you seen Jet?
Well, the last we saw him, he was in the med bay.
Okay, thanks." And she goes and heads off towards the med bay.
So we have a time limit.
Now we do.
Yeah, of seconds. It's
So
down
let's
one
talk
hallway.
I don't know if you've ever played. Crap, what's that new game everyone's?
Well,
Among Us?
while you
Among
think
Us.
of it, Marina makes it to the med bay.
I'm really bad at Among Us. Just gonna put that one out there.
I
okay.
have it. I have not played it yet.
So one of the fastest ways to lose is to kill someone and then be seen walking out of the room where they're dead.
Well, you could always kill someone else.
Yeah. But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet, this guy
Not
says.
there yet.
I didn't kill anybody. So are we at this room?
Are you guys just gonna let Marina find Jet and walk away? Is that what's going on?
Yes, that is my plan.
Okay. Then that is what you do. You are able to make it around a couple corners and into a hallway. One end of the hallway leads to what seems to be the cockpit of the ship, and then there are doors off to the side that must be the crew quarters.
Let's check those doors.
All
I
right.
mean, it's like a swipey key card, like a holdy up key card. Just need to be a vicinity key card.
Just,
Shyly Shyly, Serena's like, it's that door over there.
Oh, well then, yeah, let's go.
Oh, Serena. Sarcina. Yeah, you get to the door. It is, in fact, a holdy-uppy key card. And you hold it up to the little electronic eye that looks like HAL 9000, and the door slides open. And you see the quarters of a Star Ranger. May he rest in peace.
Notably bereft of any atomic key drives, I assume.
Yeah, there are no, what did I call it? Atomic rods?
Atomic
Piston.
Like that?
The atomic
But-
piston is not in here.
pistons. Yes.
I don't even know what one looks like. How big would it have to be?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's, I mean,
Could it be concealed in?
we have to toss the room.
Yeah, you can toss the room if you want. Do you want?
Is there a communication button like they have in all these sci-fi things?
Oh yeah, but just like in all these sci-fi things, sometimes you need to press it, and other times you can just talk into the air.
So we can either wait for the captain and the pitchforks and everything, or we can communicate with the captain and say, "Oh goodness, golly, we were so shocked.
Yeah,
We just checked
Yeah.
his quarters as soon as we could. We were so sure it would be here."
yes.
Option number 2.
Number 2.
While you guys are having this discussion, Marina Mars comes running back. She looks in at you. She's clearly been screaming, and then she looks in at you, sees you guys in Jet's room, and screams again and run towards the cockpit.
Yeah, he hits the button. He hits the communication button. Captain, there's been an attack in the med bay. We need you at Jet's quarters.
What's going on? Comes the response.
My colleagues were attacked in the med bay by Jet. I don't have all of the details, but they seemed very convinced that they were going to find the atomic pistons in his room. I'm looking in there now, and I'm not seeing anything. We may need your intercession here, Captain.
You hear a garbled response from the intercom. As the captain clearly was about to reply before being interrupted by a frantic, hysterical Marina Mars. And then he says, "I'll be right there." And being just down the hall a little bit, he is there in seconds. And what's going on here? Marina says Jet is dead?
Your officer is in the med bay. I wasn't there to see the actual scuffle. But as you can see, my compatriots were not in any position to go looking for trouble. So when they told me that he had admitted his crime, I was tempted to believe them. In any case, I came to check the room with them, and I don't see anything here. I think you're going to have to hear out their story, Captain. Something is clearly amiss, and the evidence points to it being a member of the crew that played some role.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Crow. Jet Johnson was the best Star Ranger I ever served with. Before I deal with any of you, I'm going to go find him. He pulls out his ray gun and hands it to Marina Mars. Marina, don't let any of them near the door. They're staying in here. He walks out in the hallway. Says, Billy, go to the cockpit. Get on the radio with Princess Celestia. Just keep her distracted. You're good at that. And then Captain Buck Slater stomps off towards the med bay.
Miss Mars,
Don't you move.
we can. He was roughing me up. He went to bandage my wounds, and we discussed the possibility that he might be the saboteur, and he began to rough me up.
That's nonsense.
Look how poorly he applied these bandages to my wound.
Well, Jet's not a medic.
But comparatively, look how well he did with X.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I do know that Jet Johnson would never betray the Star Rangers.
Someone did.
He didn't have to think he was betraying the Star Rangers.
What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. Just stay over there till the captain gets back.
Ebenezer just kind of turns to the other two, just like lazily shrugs. Sort of in a, if you want to make a play, like give me a wink or something, but otherwise I'm perfectly happy to sit here and drink my terrible drink.
How close is she to me?
What did you say, X?
How close is Maria Mars and X?
She would be a short distance away. The captain would not have left her alone with you if you were close enough to touch the gun, you know?
Okay.
So you guys are probably, it being a spaceship, you guys, it's probably a small room, but you guys are on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Our predicament looks dire. They're bound to believe in Jet and not the truth.
It could be suggested that maybe you shouldn't have defended yourself quite so thoroughly.
True, but a vigorous defense is always a good defense. I want to give a whistle, just strange tones, and I kind of want to make this bright-eyed woman turn around.
She's already facing you.
Yeah, no, I want to use turnaround bright eyes to turn her around so I can have a moment to get at her.
Okay, how does that spell work?
So I'm gonna take, I have to succeed in an opposed mind check against the target within a short distance. Let's see if I can manage this. Not unless she has a really, really low mind score. That 4 didn't do shit.
Her mind score is not quite that low.
But I will take mind damage based on the target's size and velocity.
Okay.
So I could use a call on that. It gives a suggestion of a D4 for a sleeping cat, or a D10 for a Tellurian running at full speed.
Well, let's call this a D6 because it's not a sleeping cat, but it's an awake human.
Okay.
She's not attacking you, so call it a D6.
All right. Well, I am back up to 4. Nope, that's mind damage. All right. Well, that didn't work.
Anything else you guys want to try?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything other than the power of seduction at this point.
Ebenezer
Or ray
Crow,
emitter.
kind of stingy with the spells for a wizard.
Ebenezer Crow knows what his spells are, and between making a slight breeze around himself or making himself impossible to notice unless you're looking at him, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Captain Slater comes back, clearly wiping a very masculine tear from his eye as he comes into the room. Says, "All right, I've lost men before, but never one like Jet Johnson. Tell me what happened."
He was bandaging Sarcina's wounds when he started talking about letting people into the engine room. And I confronted him about this. He got defensive and violent.
Who did he let in? Did he tell you that?
No.
Let me ask you this. If Jet got violent with you, why didn't he hurt you?
I'm big and hard to hurt.
Yes, but Jet was a master of space foo.
The dreaded martial art.
Well, apparently,
I don't know what to say to that.
foo wasn't as good as a strong pair of hands.
That's been noted before by many wise men.
Your kung fu is no match for my rhinoceros.
Marina says, I told him that stuff was useless. I still don't understand. Why would Jet let anyone into the engine room?
You know the man better than we did.
Maybe he had something to gain by not getting to our destination.
Jet's only failing was he was often a little too preoccupied with the fairer sex.
Ebenezer looks meaningfully over at Miss Mars.
Not her. That's Jet's sister-in-law.
Oh my gosh.
Is that against the rules on your planet? I don't know.
Marina goes, ew, no.
What about Duchess Renia?
You think Renia may have gotten into the engine room and stolen our atomic piston? Why?
Well, it follows. I know that you are a military captain. Political warfare works a little bit differently. The Hypergalactic Union has all of the power in this area, bringing in big fish from another galaxy, another universe. They stand to gain quite a bit if nothing changes. The more chaotic everything is, the more tenuous their position. Now, of course, this is supposition. The ascendant nation of Ajahai mostly minds its own business. I am not too privy to all of the relationships between the various dignitaries, but that would be my first suspicion, given the data present.
I don't believe it.
You say he had a weakness for members of the fairer sex.
To believe that Jet made a mistake is one thing. To believe that the Hypergalactic Union would stoop to such devious tactics.
Oh yes, the powerful stooping to devious practices to maintain power. It's unheard of.
You know what? Make a mind check. See if you can convince him.
That's a 6.
You seem suspicious. You seem like you are desperate to make me believe that these two are telling the truth when you weren't even in there.
I don't know if you remember this, Captain, but I took responsibility for this one named X at the beginning of our voyage. It's going to reflect very badly on Ajahai if he comes up guilty for some crime.
You're right, it does. And he murdered Jet Johnson. Marina? Billy!
Oh,
Take
shit.
these 3 to the brig.
Not Billy.
It was not murder. He defended me. He protected me from Jet.
That remains to be seen.
I rejected his advances.
Billy comes running out. Princess Celestia is pretty mad. She wants you back on the horn, Captain. The captain says, Billy, did you have the cameras on in the med bay? Well, yeah, Captain, the cameras in the med bay never turn off for medical reasons. Well, I guess we'll have to review the footage while these three sit in the brig. Let's go. He produces yet another ray gun from somewhere. And
I didn't know Derringer made ray guns.
he just keeps reaching behind his back. You're pretty sure he has a holster back there, but... so yeah, at this point, Marina, Billy, and Captain Slater will back up out of the doorway and gesture for the three of you to come out into the hall so they can lead you to the brig.
Okay, well.
My apologies, Ebenezer. We did not mean to draw you into this.
Oh, it's okay. This has been wonderfully interesting.
If you guys are not going to come out.
No. I'm not planning to get shot to death.
Oh, no. We comply.
Okay. X, do you also comply?
I comply.
All right. Well, they lead you guys to the brig and lock you up. And before they close the doors, the captain sends Marina in to take your weapons off of you. So Billy and Buck Slater continue to hold you guys at gunpoint while Marina goes in trying to get your weapons. So she first takes the obvious spear weapon, if Ebenezer will relinquish it.
The obvious. Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's a small baton, but Billy has seen how it works, so there's no real reason to lie about it.
Yeah. And Billy has also seen the saxophonium. So are you guys going to hand these things over peacefully, or are you going to resist?
I am going to wait for a regular action to see what everybody else does.
Billy's here. Billy's taking our stuff.
Well, Billy is here, but Marina is the one who's physically walked in to take your stuff. Billy has his gun on you.
The important part is Billy's the one pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
I've seen how Billy works.
Yeah, he's a crack
I've
shot.
seen him in action, so
All right.
yeah, I hand over one of my weapons.
Which
I
one?
hand over the weapon that I can actually hand over.
Yes, the saxophonium.
Yes.
And Sarsina, she also comes for your ray emitter.
So I hand her my ray emitter, and then I kind of casually reach down in my robe. I've got a small dagger in a hole on a thigh holder. Draw that out and hand it to her. That is all the weapons I have.
I smirk at them. Do you want these too?
The captain says, I do, in fact, but I'll let you keep them for now. So Marina hands back all the weapons that she's gotten from you guys back to the captain, and she says, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to search you for anything you might be trying to hide. So she proceeds to do a quick pat down on each of you.
This seems to annoy Ebenezer more than anything else that has happened up to this point, including getting attacked by bug monsters.
She is not concerned with your books. Did you have a backup weapon, Ebenezer?
I don't think we ever talked about it. He probably has, like, a knife or something like that. He
Yeah.
probably has like
if she finds a
fighting-
knife, she's gonna take it. X, I know you don't really have anything else other than the saxophonium that you can actually give her.
Yeah.
Sarsina, what does she find on you?
I've already handed over the two obvious weapons. But as she pats me down, she realizes that part of my left hand is robotic. The two fingers, the index finger and middle finger, have been replaced with artificial digits.
Captain, this one has prosthetic fingers. Any weapons in there, Sarsina?
No, this is just a simple replacement for a damaged hand.
Well, all right. So Marina finishes the pat down, comes out, and they lock the cell and leave you alone to go review the security tapes of the med bay.
So is this the first time in a hostile prison situation for you two?
No.
Ah, the coups of Vajahai. It takes me back. I'm out of coffee.
I don't like that coffee anyway.
I
Life
was
has
born
made
into,
interest. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
as you say, I was born into bondage, and I worked my way to freedom. This is nothing new to me.
So a good half hour goes by, and the captain walks back in. Well, Ebenezer Crow, I don't know why you threw your lot in with these two. We saw what happened on the video. A mix of truth and lies. Where's the atomic piston, Sarsina? If you give us that, we can get off this planet.
I'm not sure.
But
You
obviously,
honestly believe?
wasn't
You honestly
100%.
believe I took it?
it couldn't have been anyone else. It wasn't Jet. If it was Jet, he wouldn't have suspected you. It wasn't Billy. He's lived and breathed Star Ranger since he was born.
This is the Ultracosm. Is it possible that any of your guests have the ability to change their appearance? He believed. Actually, I don't know how much you guys told me of what he said, so I don't think that Ebenezer heard him say that.
If you guys want, we can say that you told him the story while you were alone in here.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Is okay with that.
Yeah, okay.
He believed that he gave a tour to Sarsina, who remembers nothing of it, but she is not the only female aboard, and depending on the nature of the magic, the actual culprit wouldn't have needed to be. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that you should trust us. I'm just suggesting that your case is not as cut and dry as you think it is.
Point of order, Sarsina did in fact confirm that the tour took place on the video in the med bay.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't there.
I admit to taking the tour, but I had no intention of sabotaging the ship. I have every intention to arriving at my destination.
Mr. Crow, your explanation of shapeshifters or mind trickery is certainly not impossible, but it is so unlikely as to be nearly so. In the Star Rangers, we believe the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Jet Johnson said Sarsina convinced him to take her into that room. Then that's what happened.
He
Sarsina?
literally, he makes a little twirling with his fingers, says something under his breath, and then there's just this big whirling gust that goes around him. It dies down, and he says, magic.
Are you presenting yourself as a possible suspect?
Does a gust look like shapeshifting?
I don't know. What does shape-shifting look like?
Well, if you don't know, then maybe you're not the person to be passing judgment in this case. Certainly the Space Rangers have some kind of course to take us before.
Sarcina, what is your interest in bringing us to this planet?
This one? To be assaulted and injured by the insect people? If I were in league with these beasts, would I not have been safe from them?
Nobody's safe from the insect men of Princess Celestia. You may have thought you had a deal with them. They don't honor deals. They're criminals of the highest order.
I had not heard of this planet until today.
Well, if indeed you fear these insect men and wish to get away from them, and if indeed you know where the atomic piston is, then you are the one who can solve all of our problem.
How big is your ship?
You've seen it.
How long could it possibly take you to turn it inside out and look for all of the places the atomic piston could be hidden?
It's only this big. It could be hidden any of 100 places, and by the time we turn over the whole ship, there will be more insect men here.
Billy said there was an entire box of spares. So it's this times however many are in the box. Or you could sit here and question us endlessly.
Marina and Billy are already searching the ship. It would go a lot faster if we knew where to look.
Have you considered asking the Duchess?
Yes, I asked her before I came here.
Oh, well, good job, Captain.
She didn't reply because of the coma she's in. Apparently it's a defense mechanism for her people when they get incredibly scared.
That's convenient at a time of inquiry.
That's what Marina said. But you're all overlooking one important fact. We have the video. We know Jet Johnson did not attack you in the medbay. You attacked him. You killed him. To stop him from telling me about the tour.
For the record, this is news to me. Your video shows I wasn't in there for that.
Yes, Crow, we know. For some reason, the three of you seem buddied up. X killed Jet to stop him from ratting out Sarcina. And you, Mr. Crow, have been trying to cover for them for no reason I understand.
Before you knew what happened, I told you through the communique that I had listened to their story and that I, again, having explained to you why I had a vested interest in X's innocence, came here to see if their suspicions were true. But the evidence did not corroborate their story, and I let you know as soon as I was aware. I mean, you wouldn't be the first person who didn't trust me because I'm a politician. I don't take it personally.
He has kind of just put up a talk to the hand kind of motion. And turns to X. And what about you, X? You were a stowaway on the ship. And your first and apparently only action was to kill my second in command to protect this woman from me. Why?
It seemed like the thing to do at the time.
You killed Jet Johnson, Star Ranger. because it seemed like the thing to do at the time.
Captain, may I speak to you privately?
Yes. If that is what you want, the captain will take you out of the holding cell and across the room to where there's like a little interrogation area. What do you want to say to me that you can't say in front of your cohorts?
First of all, release Ebenezer. He is innocent in these things. I do know where your atomic piston is. If you can promise me safe passage, I will release it to you.
I can't promise you safe passage. I can only promise that we will try to get off this planet.
Well, try as you will. You'll find it in the air duct down Hall 3.
And why did you take it?
I lean in close. It's like, I was here to stop Ebenezer from reaching the meeting. It is key to the success of my own people.
I don't understand you politicians. I hope I never do. Get back in your cell. If you're telling the truth, then it'll go well for you. Better than it would have anyway.
That's all I can ask for, Captain.
If you play your cards right, maybe you'll only get a few years. So, Sarsina is put back in the cell with you two having no clue what that conversation was. Buck Slater, well, I mean, you may have a clue. Because Buck Slater leaves, and shortly thereafter, you feel the ship vibrate to life. And his voice comes over the PA system. All guests remain in your quarters as certain sections of the ship may be depressurized due to hull breaches. We are going to try our best to fly our way out of here. Fortunately for you, the only better pilot in the fleet than Jet Johnson is me, Captain Buck Slater. And then it clicks off, and you feel a conflagration of conflicting G-forces as you are yanked up into the sky and dodging laser blasts and ion blasts all the way until finally it is announced over the intercom. We have broken free of planet Herone. The atomic piston is back in place. Unfortunately, we will not be able to make it to the conference in time because we're going to have to stop and turn over 3 of our passengers for judgment by the Hypergalactic Union. Well, you 3, that's going to be the end of our night. It's 11:30. You've managed to murder someone and go to jail. This is not really how I saw this ending. But
mission accomplished. I kept Crow from the meeting.
It is important to note that Mia did, in fact, accomplish her mission.
I feel that it is strongly likely that with Ebenezer's contacts, he will stay out of prison.
It is almost certain that Ebenezer will not be sent to prison, and it is also almost certain that X will become the ruler of said prison.
Yes.
And with any luck, my, hey, free Ebenezer, while Ebenezer is there to hear it, will benefit me in the end as well. Unless the captain divulges my my initial mission.
Yeah, given your vouching for Ebenezer, along with the fact that he clearly wasn't there in the video, and his own aforementioned friends in high places, yeah, Ebenezer's not going to jail. But yeah, Sarsina and X, I don't know. Maybe we'll see if we ever do a sequel to this one. That'll be fun. Great game, guys. I'm sorry you all went to jail for murder.
Was there a hidden? Was there a hidden reason for the murder? It kind of came out of left field for me.
Not really.
It was
Ultimately, I think I was having a lot of trouble coming up with a weakness for X, and ultimately, I think it's that he can be. It's an extreme and violent impulsiveness.
Well, that was a heck of a weakness.
Yeah. Yeah. It literally seemed it was the way his wind was blowing. This is just kind of going there.
Well, it definitely produced an interesting story, which is what we're here for. I like this system. I want to try it again some point in the future. Next week, we're playing a different game called Beautiful Space Pirates. Mia and Brian will not be with us for that one. Jason will, along with a few other people, myself, Matt Waltz, who's on our regular stream, and a new player named Carissa. And the GM for that one will be my wife, who, if you've watched a lot of our streams, you've probably seen in other one-shots. Thank you to our players tonight for helping us try out Hypertellurians.
Thank you for having me.
It was fun.
Thank you, Steve.
I really like all of the possibilities for this game. I actually expected you guys to get off the ship at some point, and we were going to do kind of a sword and planet thing out on the desert planet, but it just didn't go that way.
No.
Sometimes it just doesn't go that way. The evil space princess Celestia turned out to not be that big of a character. There was all sorts of radio banter happening in the cockpit that you guys never walked in on. But I enjoyed your choices.
Sometimes you have these epic plots and epic action, and sometimes two of your characters just lock horns and one of them shotguns the other in the gut.
Sometimes that happens.
It's good times.
Good times. I think this was a win-ish.
Yeah.
There is definitely character stuff that didn't come out.
No, but it's like 3 hours. That's
it's a
character
short one.
Comes out better when you're a little more comfortable, when you've had some time to go, oh, okay, this is where I'm going with this. You might think, oh, this is where I'm going, but no, you're maybe going over here.
Very true. Very true. All right, guys. I guess we'll stop the stream for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Again, check out our YouTube channel if you're on Twitch. Check out our Twitch channel if you're on YouTube. And on either one, check out our Discord, where you can come hang out with us and possibly even insert yourself into our situation. We will see everyone on Friday for the regular stream, and we'll be back Monday for Beautiful Space Pirates.